Welcome back to the channel, because today we are diving deep into one of the most ambitious space technology breakthroughs coming out of Russia right now. We are going to explore how engineers are tackling the high costs of satellite propulsion by swapping out rare gases for a much cheaper alternative, the engineering nightmares behind this shift, and what it means for the future of orbit design. Make sure you watch till the end so you do not miss a single detail of this fascinating tech shift. One of the most ambitious satellite propulsion projects in recent years in Russia is nearing completion. This project involves the development of the first low-power Hall-effect plasma thruster in the country, which is intended to operate on Krypton rather than Xenon. The propulsion system is anticipated to offer dependable orbital maneuvering for spacecraft that operate for a maximum of 7 years, and it is designed for serial production and installation on future Russian low Earth orbit, or LEO, satellites. The project tackles the urgent challenge of developing affordable propulsion systems for large constellations of communications and Earth observation satellites without relying on costly specialty gases. Now, to understand why this matters so much, we have to look at why satellites need electric thrusters in the first place. In contrast to conventional chemical rocket engines that are used during launch, Hall-effect plasma thrusters produce extremely low levels of thrust that are highly efficient over extended periods. These engines propel spacecraft by accelerating ionized gas through electric and magnetic fields rather than generating powerful spurts of acceleration. These propulsion systems are essential for satellites in low Earth orbit as they perform a variety of tasks. They are responsible for maintaining the appropriate orbital altitude, performing collision avoidance maneuvers to avoid space debris, repositioning satellites within constellations, and conducting controlled deorbiting at the end of a spacecraft's operational term. As the number of commercial, scientific, and government satellites in low Earth orbit increases, these capabilities have become more critical. Hall-effect thrusters are highly regarded for their ability to provide years of efficient orbital control while consuming much less fuel than conventional chemical systems. Their capacity to operate perpetually for extended periods renders them essential for contemporary satellite missions. Over here at Altitude Addicts, we always keep a close eye on these kinds of critical propulsion upgrades. That brings us to a crucial question, which is why anyone would want to replace Xenon with Krypton. Xenon, a noble gas that ionizes readily and provides exceptional propulsion efficiency, is currently used by the majority of Hall-effect thrusters. Nevertheless, Xenon has become a resource that is both strategically sensitive and increasingly expensive. The reality is simple. Global production of Xenon is just super limited because it only gets extracted in tiny amounts during industrial air separation. The price of Xenon has increased significantly as a result of the ongoing expansion of the semiconductor and aerospace industries. Consequently, Russian researchers have resorted to Krypton as an alternative propellant. Krypton is produced in significantly greater quantities than Xenon and is estimated to be 5 to 10 times less expensive. It is an appealing alternative for future satellite constellations due to its increased availability, as propulsion expenses can accumulate across hundreds or even thousands of spacecraft. The shift also supports Russia's efforts to expand domestic production of critical space technologies and reduce dependence on scarce materials. Stick around because up next we are breaking down the massive engineering hurdles holding this technology back and the key players trying to solve them, so do not go anywhere. But making this switch is far from easy because the engineering challenge behind it is immense. The transition from Xenon to Krypton is much more complex than the simple replacement of one gas with another. Krypton's ionization energy is higher, which necessitates a greater amount of electrical energy to convert it into plasma. This greatly complicates the process of generating efficient propulsion, particularly in compact, low-power engines that are intended for small satellites. Engineers must address technical challenges like optimizing plasma generation, refining magnetic field configurations, enhancing power electronics, and developing new propellant storage and feed systems. One of the main engineering objectives of the project has been to maintain an acceptable thrust efficiency while minimizing the size of the engine. Russia would be among the relatively few countries that are capable of producing efficient Krypton-powered Hall-effect thrusters for modern satellite platforms if this technology is successfully developed. It is the kind of technical leap that content creators at Altitude Addicts love to break down for space enthusiasts. Pulling off a project like this requires massive coordination across Russia's aerospace sector. The propulsion project officially began in 2025 through a collaboration involving several leading Russian aerospace organizations. The Moscow Aviation Institute, or MAI, and the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology, or MIPT, are conducting the scientific research in collaboration. The Russian engineering company, AVEX, has been tasked with the development of the engine's electronic control systems and power supply, while Orbitech will be responsible for the serial production of the propulsion units. The MAI Research Institute of Applied Mechanics and Electrodynamics has been instrumental in the technical development. Many Russian satellites and space missions have been powered by the Institute's decades of experience in the design of Hall-effect propulsion systems. The objective of the project is to accelerate the transition from laboratory development to serial production of operational spacecraft by integrating industrial manufacturing expertise with academic research. The final phase of prototype construction has begun. So, where do things stand right now? During the summer of 2026, the program entered one of its most important milestones. Engineers are literally right in the middle of building the full setup and banging out tests on every single part. The propulsion engine, Krypton storage containers, gas feed systems, electrical power units, and onboard control electronics are all undergoing parallel development. We are getting to the most critical part of the video, where we look at how these thrusters will power vast satellite fleets and reshape domestic space power. So stay tuned right where you are. Satellites will be capable of performing hundreds of orbital correction maneuvers over the course of many years, as the completed propulsion package is being designed to accommodate multiple restarts during its service life. The engine is anticipated to provide continuous space operation for a maximum of 7 years, which is consistent with the operational lifetime of many contemporary low Earth orbit satellites, according to the developers. All of this work is ultimately aimed at supporting Russia's future satellite constellations. The new propulsion system is primarily designed for the emerging multi-satellite communication and data transmission constellations in Russia. Modern satellite networks necessitate the operation of hundreds of spacecraft in meticulously coordinated orbital formations. Once its mission has ended, each satellite must safely remove itself from orbit, avoid collisions with debris or neighboring satellites, maintain orbital spacing, and modify its position on a regular basis. Consequently, reliable electric propulsion is no longer regarded as an optional component. It has evolved into an indispensable component of nearly every satellite constellation of the future. Russia has the potential to considerably reduce propulsion costs and simplify long-term production planning for large fleets of spacecraft by substituting expensive Xenon with more affordable Krypton. Beyond saving money, this is really about enhancing domestic space capabilities. The initiative is also indicative of Russia's overarching strategy to improve technological autonomy within its aerospace sector. The country's satellite production ecosystem is fortified by the development of domestically designed propulsion systems, electronics, power supplies, and manufacturing capabilities, which simultaneously reduces reliance on imported technologies. Affordable electric propulsion will be essential for the long-term operational sustainability of Russia's communication, Earth observation, and scientific satellite programs as it continues to expand. The Krypton-powered Hall-effect thruster has the potential to become a standard propulsion solution for future generations of Russian low-Earth orbit satellites if testing is successful. As we look ahead, the bigger picture becomes clear. Although Hall-effect propulsion is a well-established technology, the adaptation of it to operate efficiently with Krypton in a compact, low-power configuration is a major engineering accomplishment. Here at Altitude Addicts, we will be watching closely to see how this unfolds. A competitive propulsion platform for the rapidly expanding market of low Earth orbit satellite constellations could be provided by the combination of domestic manufacturing, extended service life, and lower operating costs in Russia. We thank the people who have liked and shared the videos and subscribed to the channel. We also thank the people who have hyped the videos